r/NoSleep. Posted by you/lying to yourself. I applied for work at a local golf club. Their night shift instructions are starting to scare me. Hi. Before I start this, I just want to put out a disclaimer. I won't reveal my name or where this golf club is for privacy reasons, but I'll do my best to describe it for you. This golf club is out in the country, meaning not many people play there, but even so, the company must have had a hell of a budget. It's the golf course for a gated community, so before you even get on golfing land, you need to stop by the check-in booth and sort of state your business. The guy at the booth can recognize members, since there are so few of them, and if you're not a member you just have to state your full name. Once you get past the gates, you can now see why they call themselves the Narrate Luxury Golf Club. The parking lot is sprawling, having patches of grass lined with curbs dividing the different sections like a labyrinth. The clubhouse has a sort of patio with a drive and drop-off sort of passage like a hotel. It kind of looks like a circle, with a granite statue out front with their name engraved into it in gold lettering. Once inside, if you look to the right, you see the lounge. Several chairs are positioned around a wood table for people to sit and talk while the piano in the corner is on, playing a random song. There's a sort of bar area on the far side of the lounge with a TV that's always playing the same slideshow. Pictures of the actual course with its rolling hills and clean green fairways. If you look to your right there is another lounge area and a front desk of sorts that is to the left of a hallway leading to the pro shop and the men's and women's bathrooms. There is also a door that leads to an area for company meetings. I think they also put it up to rent out for gatherings of other parties. At the end of the hallway is a door out to the left patio and the cart storage place of sorts. The patio has those dusty, bird shit splattered glass and metal framed tables with some cushioned chairs and a fire pit in the very center. Back at the entrance, there's a hallway that leads to the restaurant and bar that sell the usual overpriced cheeseburger sliders and alcoholic/non-alcoholic drinks. On the left wall of the hallway is a glass case filled with maybe 130 wine bottles, all of different brands and sizes. The dining area is the biggest place in the clubhouse, with about 13 booths to sit in with windows looking out onto the fairway of the third hole and some square tables that would hold a Jenga tower or a checkerboard when the club has its Thursday game night. There is a TV on the right side of the room, next to the door to the right patio. The right patio has some wooden tables and chairs and heaters. It has an open concrete space that is used to host the cornhole tournament on game nights. The concrete loops around the building on the side with the booths and leads all the way back to the left porch. That should set the scene. So, I was looking up jobs in my area one day, just to get some extra cash. I'm looking for a while, and then I find a job at this golf club. It's the night shift, so I was pretty bummed about that, but the pay was awesome. $40 a night to tidy up the clubhouse, rake the sand traps, count carts, and collect stray balls. I was ecstatic, so I went to their website to apply. The description said that the job required no real experience and that as long as I did my duties and was on time, I could have a drink or two as long as I didn't get a little too tipsy. At the bottom of the description, it said I could start on Wednesday and arrive at 11:30. The first real red flag I noticed was the message at the bottom that said, "Arrive on time." Not a minute later. I thought that was a way of joking around while enforcing the rules. I was sent a list of instructions on things to do and where the keys to places were and where to go to get this and that so that I would be all set for my first night on the job. It's kind of funny. I never made it past the first night. I got there around 11:23, wanting to be early so as to not get reprimanded. They told me Mr. Harkinson, the guy in the gate booth, gets off before my shift starts, so I got the code to the gate. 43,552. I was in, and I parked my car in the spot on the outer ring of the drop-off circle place. They said on the paper that the front door should be unlocked at the start of my shift, but that I should lock it as soon as I get the keys along with further instructions. As I walked along the dark hallway to the dining area, I gazed at the array of wine bottles in the case and saw that there was a vacant spot among them. I entered the dining room and immediately found the piece of notebook paper on the bar. This is what it said. If you are reading this, then you must have decided to take the job. There are some things we didn't tell you in the form for this job. We wanted you here by 11:30 so that you could still have time to walk away. At 12 o'clock, they will come. Before going about your duties, we want to inform you of some of the things you may see tonight, if, of course, you decide to stay and what to do if you do see them. If, while in the clubhouse you feel an uncanny urge to step outside, check all of the windows first to see if they are there. You won't be able to see their form, but their eyes shine like fog lamps. Double check that all the doors are locked if you see even one of them outside, or they will be inside before long. You may hear some sounds coming from the pro shop. If it is the desk bell ringing, do not enter the room. If it is an otherworldly voice asking for service, lock all doors leading into the pro shop. This includes a door in the meeting room that is often unused. Once the clock hits exactly 1 o'clock, turn all the lights off in the clubhouse except for the light in the lounge. If you do this before 1 o'clock, you won't live to see the hour change. Once this task is done, continue your duties by raking the sand traps on the first 9 holes. The other 9 are done during our 7 to 10 shift. While raking the sand traps, you may see a golf cart on the cart path. If the thing in it makes no noise, don't acknowledge it. If it is laughing, follow the cart with your eyes until it passes out of sight. If this happens, move on to your routine cart counting duties. While doing your cart check, make sure to pay extra attention. If there are 3 carts labeled 5, head back to your car and end your shift early. If you see 2 duplicates of 5, do not go back to the clubhouse and instead head on to your putting green duties. If the cart anomaly did not happen, then walk by the front of the clubhouse and listen for the piano playing. If the piano is playing, knock 3 times and leave. Then come back after finishing your last 2 duties and turn the lights off. If there is no music, step inside and feel free to shut the light off in the lounge. Your next task is collecting balls from the holes in the putting green. We don't know how these balls get here, but we take care of them anyway. Also, take care that all of the flags are in the holes. If 1 flag is out of place, do not acknowledge that hole. If 2 flags are out of place, come back to the green after your trip to the driving range. If 3 flags are gone, end your shift early. Your next task is to scavenge leftover balls in the driving range. While looking for balls, you may perchance see the shape of a man at one of the mounds. If he waves to you, wave back. If he starts to walk toward you, run to your car as fast as you can and do not look behind you. Your perils are not over until you get to your car. While in the parking lot, look and see if there are any lamps on. There is a very low chance that this will happen, but one of the lamps will be on, and you will see a twitching man standing under it. If you see him, stop in your tracks and do not take another step until you see him walk away. If you think that you may not have the mental fortitude to work this shift, then feel free to quit without further notice. Signed respectfully, Management. I read that note a few more times. What the fuck? Was this some kind of prank that management pulled on newbies like me? But why would they go through all the trouble to write such a long note and make such a detailed set of rules? I looked at my watch. 11:58. We wanted you here by 11:30 so you would still have time to walk away. Could I actually just walk right off the job? No way. They probably think I can handle being alone in the dark. If you feel like you may not have the mental fortitude to work this shift, then feel free to quit without further notice now. I wasn't going to let them make me walk away. Fuck management. I crumpled up the note and threw it into the trash bin next to the bar. I was determined to make sure that all those snobs didn't have a laugh about scaring away a newbie on their first night. And all over some shitty prank. Shitty prank. That's what I told myself it was. At least, until my watch beeped. 12 o'clock. And with the coming of the new hour, they came too. Next story of this video. Posted by you/lying-to-yourself. My dog ran into the woods a couple days ago. Ever since we got Charlie, he's always had a wild personality. He could be calmly resting on the ground for 1 minute, then trying to climb a tree to attack some poor woodpecker. We have a huge backyard for him to run around in, and on the far end of it is a vast expanse of forest. We've been planning to build a fence ever since Charlie ran away. As of now, my dad is at the store getting the necessary supplies. You may ask, why are you building a fence? Why haven't you searched for this Charlie yet? Well, it's because there's nothing to search for. The night after he went missing, my dad went into the woods with a flashlight. I sat on the back deck until he came back. He looked out of breath, his flashlight was gone, and when he came up to me, he solemnly handed me a blood-stained collar that had the name Charlie stenciled into the dog tag. I cried all night. But my dad wasn't crying. He was dead serious. I could always tell what was going on with him by looking at his face, and I think he saw something out there. In the woods. I went to bed that night wondering what he could have seen that shook him up that much. We didn't get any wolves or bears, almost everything in the forest was harmless, except for the few spiders and other creepy crawlies that lurked in that forest. I remember him telling me the story about the time he did come face to face with a black bear while camping. He was the only calm one out of all his friends. He knew what to do when you had a run-in with a bear, and he handled it without even breaking a sweat. But now, seeing him like this, what could lurk out there that could be more fearsome than a bear? I got my answer the next night. My room is on the second floor of our house, and it has a window overlooking the entire backyard. I was still in mourning over Charlie, so I'd had trouble sleeping for the past few nights. I couldn't close my eyes without remembering all our memories together, and tears always welled up in me. But that night was different. I couldn't fall asleep, as usual, but it seemed that there was something. Some cold feeling made its way from my head to my feet. I couldn't keep my hands steady, and my eyes weren't damp. I was alert and on edge. At that moment, I knew where the feeling was coming from. I crept over to my window and gazed across the lawn. The moon was just above the treetops, and I could see a head peeking over the trees, illuminated by the moonlight. It looked oval-shaped, and it had eyes like spotlights as if two miniature moons were below the supreme one. The tree line was about 140 yards away, and I didn't have the light on in my bedroom, but even so, I had this horrible feeling that whatever that thing, taller than the trees were, was staring straight at me. The chills came back, so cold it made my teeth chatter. My room's temperature seemed to drop to the 30s. My arms felt like rocks, but I managed to lift them to the window curtains. When my hands reached the curtain's edge, I saw the thing move. It ducked back under the trees and let the moon shine fully again. I didn't realize I'd been holding my breath the whole time, and I took in a gush of air. As I was catching my breath, I saw the thing that's been plaguing my nightmares for the last few days. The upper half of Charlie rolled out of the tree line and out onto the lawn, and that was the last thing I remember before I fainted. That was the first thing I told my dad when I woke up, and he assured me he'd look while I was at school. I didn't tell him, for some reason, about the tall thing. And I spent the whole school day thinking about it. When I got home, my dad told me he couldn't find anything out there, so it must have just been a dream. And you know what? He almost fooled me. I looked myself. I saw the blood on the blades of grass. I saw the patches of hair around the bloodied grass too. It wasn't a dream. There's something out there. I know there is. Now I know that even if we put up a fence, it won't stop it. I've seen it with my own eyes. But it's seen me too.